Hi, I'm Anne. Thanks for joining me at home with Imagine If. Today I want to do a STEAM activity, and that's STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, with an A added for art. So our STEAM activity will be art with a component of science and math. Today we're going to make Shrinky Dinks. This is an activity we do at our wired programs, and it never grows old. At the library we use full sheets of official Shrinky Dink plastic. And we don't have that at home, so if you want to do this, you're going to have to, first thing you're going to have to do is look around for some number 6 polystyrene plastic. You might find it in plastic for takeout clamshell containers. It'll have this symbol on it. That's what you're looking for. I've seen it in donut containers. Those little clamshells are clear so you can see the food inside them, but they're thin plastic. Clear is what you're looking for. You'll see number 6 plastic sometimes on meat trays, styrofoam meat trays, and this kind of worked. You know, if you had to use it, you could, but the clear is what you're really looking for. I found this one in the bottom of a cookie tray. So it was like a package of cookies, and then this was in the bottom to keep the cookies from getting all crumbly. So if you are going to recycle some cookie or cracker containers, check out and see if you've got a tray like this, and if it does, I marked the bottom, but you can't see it on the film, but this says number 6. So that's what you're looking for, PS, polystyrene, number 6 polystyrene. Okay, so it has to be clear, number 6. I got the idea originally to do Shrinky Dinks when I was recycling this container, a container of mixed nuts. I saw the clear plastic and I thought, this will be great. We can make Shrinky Dinks at home. And but then I looked into it, and this is actually number 1 PETE plastic. It's a different kind of plastic. And I looked into it a little bit more and found out that while these are formed at the factory in a really similar manner, these ones are at a much higher temperature, and they don't work very well for Shrinky Dinks. Okay, so here's our science bit. When plastic is formed into the shapes that it's needed, it is heated to soften or weaken the bonds between the molecules. You remember, molecule means teeny bit. The polystyrene molecules are really huge for a molecule. They're called polymers or macromolecules. Macro means big, molecule means teeny bit, so a macromolecule means a really big teeny bit. And they're very long, these macromolecules, and they have bonds that are really strong that hold them together. And scientists noticed that if you heated the macromolecules up, like polystyrene, the bonds would stretch, but they wouldn't break. And they could use that to make these polymers into whatever shape was needed. These are both the same amount of number 1 PETE plastic. And at the factory, this one is put into a mold, and just like blowing up a balloon, except with 500-degree air, the air is pumped in there, and it expands instantly into this shape, and then it's cooled and it stays frozen in this shape. The bonds have not broken. They've stretched, and they're strong enough to stay in this strong container. What we're doing when we are making Shrinky Dinks out of our polystyrene, which has also been stretched into this shape, is we're heating it up, and just like a rubber band, those long polymers are like stretching like a rubber band, frozen into that shape, and then when we heat it back up again, they're finally allowed to relax back to their original shape. They're still the same macromolecule, they're just now relaxed. So the polystyrene molecules are the best ones for making Shrinky Dinks. And the best polystyrene must be the best of the rubbery macromolecules out there. I did try, and clear polystyrene, number 6 polystyrene, is the best of the best. I did try number 1 PETE plastic, and I tried number 6 expanded polystyrene. It's not clear, but this was a piece of a meat tray, styrofoam meat tray. So I did not have great results. I'll show you some photos and show you what happened. So if you found some clear number 6 polystyrene plastic in your house, that's great. The next big thing you're going to need is a toaster oven that you can set up outside, or a vent hood. If you happen to have a vent hood over your oven, that would work too. We're melting polystyrene at a low temperature, and not much is lost to gas, but it is still safer to do this outside with lots of fresh air or by a vent. Half of the fun is leaning in close and watching the molecular gymnastics as the macromolecules twist and relax and then reform back to their original size. You're also going to want a baking tray and some foil to protect the baking tray. This is not a food product, so it's better safe than sorry. And you're going to need some scissors to cut the plastic. And then something to color your plastic, your Shrinky Dink. You could use permanent markers. Another thing you can do is, if you don't have permanent markers or you're doing this with little kids, you can take the plastic and sand it to make it scratchy. And then that gives you a rough surface, and then you can use colored pencils instead of permanent markers. So you need something to color it. You can also use acrylic paint. You don't want to use crayons because we're going to be baking these, and that'd be too waxy. And watercolors just wouldn't work because they wouldn't stick to the plastic. A hole punch is nice. You might want to have you're going to punch a hole in it before you bake it if you're going to want to attach it to something. And you might want something else to finish off your creation, like if it's going to be a keychain or a necklace, or you have to tie it with embroidery floss or something like that. Maybe some card papers to make cards. I'm going to give you some ideas next for things to make with your plastic. Okay, so I've got some ideas here for things that you might want to make out of your plastic. See if I can get you to see them down here. I've got a little hummingbird zipper pull made out of Shrinky Dink plastic. I've got a bookmark. Here's a necklace, a little heart necklace. These are the ones that had hole punches put in them before they were baked, and the hole is just barely big enough for the thread when it's baked, after it's baked. You could make a Valentine's Day card and then embellish it with a little Shrinky Dink flower. Birthday card and a birthday gift, you could embellish it with the Shrinky Dink balloon there. Same idea, here's a Mother's Day card. And this is actually 3D. Got the Shrinky Dink plastic on it. Oh, a thank you card. Shrinky Dink plastic. And here is a big card. And then that flower is actually the Shrinky Dink plastic on that one. So once you have your idea, you're going to cut out what you need. Remember, the plastic's going to shrink by 1/3, and it becomes 9 times thicker than it is. Oh, I forgot these guys. These are magnets, fridge magnets that my daughter made. And she just glued some little magnet bits on the back. So your math challenge for this STEAM project is figure out how big you want to make your Shrinky Dink project now, so that when it shrinks to 1/3 its size and 9 times its thickness, it's the proper size for your finished product. And I'm going to show you, I'll show you some pictures of before and after of these guys, so you can see how much they shrunk, give you a better idea of what 1/3 of the size would mean. Well, hopefully those pictures gave you an idea of what shrinking by 1/3 of its size means. If you're going to put it on a keychain, a key ring, you might have to make the hole punch extra big, because those shrunk quite a bit. It was barely fit the embroidery floss when I did it. Let's see. So you can draw your designs by either tracing a picture, or you can freehand draw it. And when you're drawing, if you're drawing with permanent markers and you make a mistake, you could erase it with hand sanitizer and a tissue. Or if you are doing the sandpaper and colored pencil route, if you make a mistake, you can just sandpaper it right off. And then once you get your creation, you've got your idea, you've got your plastic cut, you've drawn it on there, then it's time to bake it. Okay, when your creations are ready, you preheat your oven to 325, and while you're waiting for it to heat up, you can get your foil put on your baking tray, and then put your creation in. I'm just going to do one at a time because they do roll around a lot and I don't want them to stick together. And I also have a flashlight, so I'll try to shine a light so you can watch this one go. And you're supposed to put it at 325. There it goes, it starts to curl up. And then it curls up, and when it's not focused on that, there we go. And then it curls up, and when it stops curling up, you're supposed to wait another 30 seconds for it to flatten out. Although you can, if it's a little bit curly, you can flatten it with like the bottom of a glass. I'll show you. This one looks pretty flat again. Boy, did it get small. Well, I hope you had fun with this STEAM project, studying the properties of the macromolecule polystyrene. Let's do some more. Oh, little girl. And that's it. Thanks for watching.